A huge slice of the internet hides behind one company, Cloudflare. It's like a shield. It sits in front of millions of websites and blocks the bad guys before they ever get in. On July 2nd, 2019, that shield turned on the very websites it was protecting. For 27 minutes, a chunk of the web just went dark. No hacker, no attack. The weapon was a single line of pattern matching code. First, what Cloudflare actually does. When you visit a website, you often don't talk to it directly. Your request goes through Cloudflare first. They're the internet's doorman, standing in front of millions of sites, checking everyone who tries to come in. And part of the doorman's job is security. It's called a web application firewall. Picture a guard with a checklist, reading every single request that comes through, looking for anything that smells like an attack. That checklist is made of patterns, little rules that say if a request looks like this, it's probably an attack. And Cloudflare can change that checklist incredibly fast. A new rule reaches every server on the planet in seconds. On July 2nd, 2019, an engineer added a new rule. It was meant to catch a new kind of attack, a trick hackers use to sneak malicious code into a web page. A completely normal security update. The rule was written as something called a regular expression, a regex. If you've never met one, it's a pattern for matching text. A tiny, dense little language of symbols that answers one question. Does this text look like that shape? And they were careful. The new rule wasn't even set to block anything yet. It was going out in simulate mode, just watching the traffic, taking notes, blocking nothing. But hidden inside that pattern was a tiny trap. Just a few characters, roughly like this. Match anything, and then inside that, match anything again. Here's why that's dangerous. When two of those greedy match anything pieces overlap, the engine can't tell where one should stop and the next begins. So it tries every possible way to split the text. And when that fails, it backs up and tries again. It's called catastrophic backtracking. And because it was just a pattern, just one more rule on a checklist, it skipped the slow, careful rollout that real software gets. It went straight to every server, everywhere, all at once. At 13:42 in the afternoon, the rule went live across Cloudflare's entire global network in seconds. And every server started doing the exact same thing. For every request that came in, the guard pulled out the new pattern and tried to match it, and fell straight into that endless backtracking. The processors that run the internet's doorman shot to 100%, everywhere, at the same instant. And here's the cruel part, simulate mode didn't save them. It was never the blocking that cost anything, it was the matching itself. With no power left to actually serve the websites, the network started turning people away. And visitors all over the world, reaching for millions of different sites, all got the same thing. An error page, 502, bad gateway. Inside Cloudflare, the alarms went off within 3 minutes, and the first fear was the obvious one. Are we under attack? A flood this total, this global, looked exactly like someone hitting them with everything at once. But it wasn't an attack, it was them. By 2 o'clock, they'd traced the fire back to one thing. The WAF, their own security guard. At 14:07, someone proposed the nuclear option. A global kill, a single switch that shuts off one entire system across the whole planet at once. The whole team turned and looked at the person who said it, then they flipped it. They switched the guard off everywhere. At 14:09, the processors dropped back to normal. The websites came back. From the first request to the last error, it had lasted 27 minutes. 27 minutes in which a big piece of the internet was simply gone, because of a handful of characters in one pattern. And like most disasters, this one was built from small, reasonable decisions. A pattern with 2 greedy wildcards that nobody noticed. A change so safe, it didn't even need to block anything to do damage. And a system so fast, it could hand a mistake to the entire planet before anyone could type a second command. Because here's the thing about a regex. It looks like text, but it's really a tiny program. And a tiny program can run forever. Cloudflare's real fix wasn't write better patterns. It was to switch to a matching engine that is mathematically incapable of backtracking like that. They made the mistake impossible to make again. If you've ever taken down production with a one-line change, you know the feeling. Tell me about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. There are plenty more developer stories coming soon.